This is a story about a world deep inside our bodies, a vast universe where light never reaches. That's right, we're talking about your gut. And in this world, an incredible 100 trillion microorganisms are working hard, living their lives every single day. And believe it or not, this world where these tiny residents live, the gut itself, is an incredibly special place with a surprising intelligence of its own. Our gut is the longest organ in our body, and its walls are lined with a dense, web-like network of about 100 million nerve cells. That's the second highest number of nerve cells in the entire body, right after the brain. It's no wonder the gut is sometimes called the second brain. So, why would an organ that just digests food need so many nerves? Well, it turns out the gut's job is far more complex and sophisticated than we might think. Incredible sorting ability, instantly analyzing food. For example, when we eat a meal, our gut can tell if the food arriving is solid or liquid, and it can even identify what kind of nutrients it's made of. Then, as if it's thinking for itself, it meticulously controls its movements, changing the type and amount of digestive juices, mixing, kneading, and slowing things down as needed. But that's not all. It also acts like a wise gatekeeper, carefully selecting and absorbing only the nutrients our body needs, while blocking anything harmful from getting in. The brain isn't micromanaging every little detail, telling the gut what to do. The gut uses its very own neural network to think for itself and get the job done. Even without direct orders from the brain, the body's capital, it governs itself and protects its borders. It's almost like another independent nation right inside our own bodies, isn't it? And what's truly amazing about this independent nation is the fact that it works in close cooperation with its 100 trillion residents, the gut bacteria, to command our body's national defense, our entire immune system. Now let's explore this magnificent world of the gut, its resident bacteria, and our immunity together. Now, the residents of this gut world can be divided into three main groups. First, we have the good bacteria that help keep us healthy. Familiar names here are bifidobacterium and lactobacillus. Then we have the bad bacteria, the troublemakers that can cause decay and inflammation. This group includes bacteria like Clostridium perfringens and some pathogenic E. coli. And finally, we have the largest and most interesting group, the opportunistic bacteria, represented by types like Bacteroides. Surprisingly, the good and bad bacteria combined only make up about 30% of the population. The remaining 70% is composed of these opportunistic bacteria. That's right, the power balance between the good and bad bacteria, which are just a fraction of the total, actually determines the behavior of the massive 70% majority. Just as their name suggests, these opportunistic bacteria have a tendency to side with whoever is winning. In a peaceful environment where good bacteria are dominant, they remain harmless, sometimes even acting as good citizens who help our bodies. But the moment the bad bacteria gain the upper hand, they switch sides and join in on the trouble. Whether our gut becomes a healthy place or a difficult one all comes down to which side these opportunistic bacteria choose to support. So, what happens in a gut that's like heaven, where the good bacteria are in charge? A lot of wonderful things happen for our bodies. Good bacteria feed on the dietary fiber we eat and, in return, give us a truly magical gift: short-chain fatty acids. These serve as a vital energy source for the cells of our gut, helping to maintain a strong and healthy intestinal barrier. And there's more good news. Think about the glowing skin and shiny hair that many people seek through expensive cosmetics and treatments. Or the heavy fatigue behind the eyes that's a critical issue for modern workers battling computer screens. What if I told you the key to all of this was actually inside your own gut? It's well known that B vitamins, often called the beauty and recovery vitamins, are essential for these concerns. But here's a common trap: thinking, I take vitamin supplements, so I'm fine. The truth is, if your gut environment is dominated by bad bacteria, you can't properly absorb the vitamins you take. Why? Because a gut dominated by bad bacteria is like a barren, depleted field. The intestinal walls become damaged, weakening their ability to absorb nutrients. This means those precious vitamins simply pass right through without being used. In other words, a poor gut environment blocks the very entrance for vitamin absorption. And the problem doesn't stop there. The good bacteria in our gut also have the amazing ability to produce vitamins like the B group and vitamin K on their own. A disrupted gut environment robs us of this production capability as well. Conversely, cultivating a gut environment rich in good bacteria is like reclaiming fertile land that can receive nutrients, and at the same time, nurturing a rich farm that produces its own nourishment. The era of relying solely on external care might be over. Nurturing the trillions of partners inside your gut is the smartest choice for achieving a youthful appearance that radiates from within, and for gaining the comfort needed to navigate the tough battles of daily life. And perhaps the most critical role of good bacteria involves our immune system. You see, the gut also serves as a secret training facility for our immune cells. The gut's job isn't just to gather immune cells. It's equipped with the function of a training ground to forge them into stronger soldiers. If you look closely at the surface of the intestine, you'll see flat indentations without any villi. This is the entrance to the training facility. The gut intentionally draws in foreign substances, like bits of gut bacteria and food, through these indentations. Inside the intestinal wall, a host of immune cells are waiting. Transporter cells capture the foreign substances and bring them to the immune cells, where the lessons begin. This is a harmless gut bacterium. Recognize it as an ally. This is a harmful pathogen that must be attacked. Remember it as an enemy. Through this process, immune cells learn to distinguish friend from foe, enhancing their ability to fight various illnesses like the flu and pneumonia. Once their training is complete, these elite immune cells are dispatched from the gut, traveling through the bloodstream to the rest of the body. The gut, it turns out, is the essential command center that directs our entire immune system. On the other hand, a gut dominated by bad bacteria becomes a harsh environment, swirling with decay and toxins. Nutrient absorption fails, and bad bacteria release harmful substances like ammonia and hydrogen sulfide. A major problem is a toxin called LPS, which is a toxin found in the cell walls of bad bacteria. This toxin damages the gut lining, breaking down the barrier and allowing substances to leak into the body, a condition known as leaky gut. This puts the gut into a state of chronic inflammation, like an endless smoldering fire. And it is this chronic inflammation that tragically triggers our immune system to go haywire. This prolonged distress completely changes our immune training ground. It ceases to be a place that teaches composure and instead becomes a military academy that instills hypersensitivity and suspicion. Immune cells trained here begin to overreact to things they should ignore, like pollen or certain foods, and they release messenger chemicals to signal an invasion. In response, cells called mast cells receive this message and start releasing massive amounts of chemicals, like histamine, to expel the invader. This is what manifests as the miserable allergic reactions we know as sneezing, a runny nose, and itchy eyes. The tragedy deepens. To fight an enemy like a virus or bacteria that has entered the body, our immune system first memorizes the enemy's appearance, its marker. However, sometimes an enemy's marker and a marker on our own body's cells happen to look strikingly similar. This uncanny resemblance is called molecular mimicry. Normally, our immune system is brilliant and isn't easily fooled by molecular mimicry. But when the immune training ground is compromised by chronic inflammation, the system for accurately identifying friend from foe breaks down, and it loses its ability to judge calmly. As a result, deployed immune cells are confused by molecular mimicry and mistakenly attack the body's own cells. This case of mistaken identity can lead to autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, where the body attacks its own joints. It's a tragic case of friendly fire committed by an immune system that's just trying to do its job. Our gut environment also changes as we get older. When we're young, the gut is protected by a thick, moist barrier of mucus. This mucus also serves as food for some gut bacteria, which helps keep the gut environment stable in our youth. However, with age, mucus secretion can change, and good bacteria, like bifidobacterium, naturally tend to decrease. As a result, the supply of vitamins from our gut bacteria can slow down, and many people start to notice changes in their skin and hair. This is precisely why it becomes even more important for older adults to get plenty of dietary fiber from their food to feed their gut bacteria. So, what should we do? Let me share something very important, and that is, don't be swayed by advertising. On TV and in stores, yogurts packed with bifidobacterium, as well as fermented foods like natto and miso, get a lot of attention. And of course, these are wonderful foods. However, Even if you eat a lot of good bacteria, their effect will be limited if they don't have homes and food. In other words, dietary fiber to help them settle in and thrive. And your gut environment isn't going to change dramatically in a day or two. Far more crucial than just taking good bacteria for your gut, which you hear in ads all the time, is the foundation of it all. Patiently getting enough dietary fiber from sources like vegetables every single day.
The gut is not just a digestive organ, it's our second brain and a fortress of life that commands our entire immune system and supports our health from the very roots. Listening to its quiet voice and supporting it with our daily meals might just be the surest way to protect our future selves.